So this is the Gemini-B, and I put a new version of the Gemini-B that's straight. So this will have motors on both ends, like in parallel, as you guys have seen it. The problem with this motor is that it's too tall. I don't know if you guys can compare it, but well, you have the skid there too, but this one is way taller. So if you have you're trying to put a driver, and try to put their legs over here, and then the motor uses a ton of space. So thinking a way to clear things up, and also at the same time, if you have a center drive, a center pumpkin axle. This one works great because, you know, both are mostly centered. So if you have both motor on both sides, the shaft can come out centered to the center pumpkin of the axle. But if you have an offset pumpkin to the left, for example, to the driver's side, then it would hit the motor unless you mount the motor on the back. But then you need to figure out space to actually do that. But with this one, then you don't have that problem. It's not that tall. Links. The only problem, obviously, is the weight bias is gonna be on the left, so you will need to balance it out. Now, if you're gonna have an interior here with a driver on this side, that should, you know, balance things out a bit. And then your axle pumpkin is gonna be on this side, and it's gonna clear, right? So if it's not on the center, it will clear perfectly. And on the back is the same thing. So in the back, this is centered. So usually the back is center. If you have an offset pumpkin, it's gonna be on this side, so it's cleared. Well, not depends on what offset pumpkin you're using, but if you have one here, then it could interfere with that motor. Now the thing is, the drive shafts usually come up here and then they bend, and when on the rear they're usually a longer one. So I think like a normal motor will clear up just fine. The problem is that usually you have the pumpkin offset on the front. So you cannot use this type of transfer case unless you mount one motor forward and one motor backward, which you can do. But in this one, that's now allowed. So the problem too with this approach is that you need to mount your front link here, right? Front upper link. And then probably you will need to mount them on the outside, because in the inside there's no space between the motor, or make a custom skid, or if you have a cage, mount them on a cage. But this works pretty well. This would be the motor driving the front shaft, and this would be the motor driving the rear shaft. And this uses the same gears as Gemini-B inside. And I made everything so it can fit without interfering. So everything is as tight as possible inside here. And then you have a few screws that are long, and then a few short screws on the back. And then you could do it the other side. So you can choose sides, basically. Yeah, it's a fun project. Hope you guys like it.